I gotta tell you, by definition, I'm an unemployed bum, and it feels fucking amazing. Being unemployed, it's got its perks. I'm not out here claiming unemployment. I'm not out here asking for money. Uh, but even when you aren't out here, fitting the definition of a typical unemployed person, in the worst stereotypical way that you could think of. I gotta say, when you tell people like, I quit my job, I just, I feel great, I feel so refreshed. People are like, man, you're so brave, you're so, I aspire to have the confidence and the lack of care in the world that you do. And then 4 days later, they're like, take out the garbage, you piece of shit. I'm kidding. But kind of. But no, I gotta say, living the bum life is pretty fucking amazing. I'm not, I always wonder, like, how can you leave a job and just, like, be unemployed for a year? And I get it now. This shit's pretty great. It can get pretty stale at times. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like if you leave your knockoff bread. Yeah, I gotta say, something about bread. This is how you know the bread isn't real in this country, what we get. When your bread can last a month past the expiration date and you've opened it, and it may got a little bit of a sour smell, but still edible. As long as, you know how you rationalize a lot of shit? When your rationalization for iffy bread is, hey, if you toast it, it kills any bacteria. That's about like, when you become such a free spirit, you just start eating fucking random ass shit, bro. I am eating so much fucking food. And I'm starting to feel the repercussions of it. God damn, my lower back is carrying the weight of my bum right now. But, nah, this unemployed life, it's pretty fucking nice, It's probably not some people close in your life want you to get too comfortable with, like, I raised a fucking bum, But at the same time, you're like, wish you could too, huh? And they're like, God damn it, Clint. It is weird, Do people start I already start feeling it, People start when you don't have a job on paper, people really do start treating you different. And I'm not going to say where, but let's just say I went out today, didn't do anything crazy, just went to a typical place I do. And people are like, you look different, you feel different, what's going on, And, you would think, like, if someone carries a certain positive aura, you'd be like, man, what's this person on? I want to see, what did they do? Because whatever they say, I want to try that. You tell them, like, what I did? I quit my job and I feel pretty good. I'm doing things I enjoy. They're like, this guy's off the rails here, It's crazy how when you make a decision for yourself and you feel great about it, you feel clear, like my body feels actually relatively recovered based off the years of just damage and lack of care, that comes with the territory. And it takes a while, but your mind becomes a lot more clear. You start feeling more like your old self in a good way. But a much more wisdom, a much more experienced person. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I woke up today and I'm living like the gym bro lifestyle. I'm literally waking up at 12, even though I try to wake up at 10. I go to the gym. I push pretty hard. I come home. I'm recording an episode, and then after this, I'm going to eat and then do whatever the fuck I want, And it's nice, I think sometimes I think the dangerous territory you could get in, and something I'm trying to catch myself, is when you have been in such a monotonous, but when you become in such a cycle of doing things, you sometimes forget how to make time for yourself. You forget how to, follow through on your own task, on your own hobbies, things you enjoy, making time. You kind of forget because all your time is occupied. And it's kind of like that. You need a break. You need like just some time to do nothing. And you got to ease your way back into doing shit. But then eventually, you're going to need a job, So it's kind of like that fine line balance. Now, you don't want the unemployment life to become too good where you just like, you become so disconnected with, making money. But you also don't want to become so wrapped into something that you never have control to just be like, I'm good, So yeah, I'm an unemployed bum, and I'm turning into a mass monster, But yeah, welcome to episode 309 of the Often Be podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Jesus, I would love to take some Adderall. God, if I took Adderall doing this podcast, it would be insane. If I just took Adderall, I would be fucking insane, bro. I'd be looking at the weights like, the weights would be working for me, Recording this. Welcome to episode 309 of the Off Beat podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, the notification bell, most important ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to suck some titties. Yeah. Recording this at 6:18 p.m. Eastern. I can't remember the last time I recorded at a regular time of the fucking day. On December 16th, 2024 for the archives. And we're bringing back a familiar friend for the OGs of the show. Ghost. Sour Warheads. This is how you know my life has been so out of range. I bought these energy drinks over a month ago. Because, I typically used to be in the habit of, having a little something when I record or whatever. Sitting in the fridge, and that shit is sitting there for a month. And this is the first time I've had an energy drink in over a month. Not that I really need it, but yeah. Not to bring the energy down a little bit, but it is unfortunate. There's another shooting out there. A school shooting. I think it was at a Christian school. I couldn't believe, this is how you know I spend way too much time in the same places. I find out about all these unfortunate events at my gym because they have all the different news channels. It's funny how these privately owned franchises of gyms, it's like, they're like, they try to put multiple different news outlets like the Fox News, the CNBCs, and pretend like, they're not, like they don't have a leaning side, and that's fine. But it's like, wherever they put where the most people are going to see the TV, that's what they believe. Whatever is above the treadmills, when you're at a senior citizen type of gym, whatever is above the treadmills, that is what they want the focus. That is where their beliefs are. That is just my observations. I know that's a reach, but whatever they have on the TV over the, rowing machine in a corner where no one ever fucking goes, that's where they put the shit that, we actually want to watch. Like, I don't know, Monday Night Football. But anyways, but yeah, another unfortunate shooting out there. I hate to be like a news reporter, but I do love the newsroom. I love catching up on these shows. Never really been to watching a series type of person. It's been very hard to keep up, but now that I have time, I really love the falling into something. I'm trying to be more receptive of just falling into things, kind of not drifting with the wind, but kind of letting myself get deep into something. Pussy. But no, in all seriousness, there was another school shooting, I think at a Christian school in Wisconsin. And it's very just like, you see it, and, it's a shitty feeling to admit this. I looked at it, I nodded my head, shook my head, and they were doing I guess it happened like a couple hours prior. 3 people are dead, 6 are wounded. One of the people that died is the person that, was the shooter, the suspect. They killed him. But, the unfortunate part about it is we are so accustomed to just this type of shit happening. And I think which I don't know, since it's a Christian school, did someone attack it because of religious? There's a lot of directional murders or shootings in terms of like the CEO. I don't know if I ever talked about it, but the Luigi guy shooting the CEO of United Healthcare. And it's kind of creating this. I think the Luigi thing is a situation where intentions of what you're saying is right or wrong, you could be right, but murdering someone is not really gonna do what you think it's gonna do. Like, you're gonna have a following, you're gonna have people that follow because you know what? The healthcare system is fucked up. And I even think the guy who took over, because this guy got murdered, kind of like what is it called when a president gets murdered and, whatever follows the vice president, they take over. I guess they already had a CEO in place just in case, and he's even saying like our healthcare system is kind of broken. It's like, well, you guys knew that when you were denying 33% of claims or whatever the crazy number is, It's really like these insurance companies from health, auto insurance, like, they try their hardest to, like, when something actually happens to you, they try their damn hardest to not actually, insure you. Your insurance is pretty much not insured. That's the crazy part. And I know I'm kind of going all over the place, but trust me, it all connects in a way. The Luigi Mangione guy, this is the problem, and I know we joke about it, but this is honestly like something I've thought about for quite a while. Ever since there's been this crave of serial killers and true crime and all that good stuff, like, it seems harmless from afar, like, oh, women are obsessed with watching, being in love with serial killers from afar. There's attractive qualities and all this stuff. And God forbid, if you're an attractive man like Luigi, no homo. Not there's anything wrong with that. But you know what? You could be a straight man and be like, damn, that's a good looking man, Not that I would touch him or anything, but, it's like, hey, I can see why a woman would be regularly tried. He's educated, in pretty good shape, young, smooth skin. He seems like he hydrates. He hikes with no shirt on with a backpack. Who doesn't like that? But what I've always kind of, when we romanticize killers, people that kill people, regardless if they're trying to make a statement for what's right or wrong, it's like, you just kind of, like, all he did was just kill the head. Like, that person, he's not directly not following your claims, but he's also not helping the cause, So at the same time, it's like, I understand the statement you're making, but all you did was just murder someone. You didn't murder, like, the actual claims process. You didn't fight to change a whole lot. All you did was just murder someone, and we kind of love extreme action, extreme result. And it's unfortunate because there's a lot of fucked up things about healthcare. Like, actually, I think through my previous job, I had United Healthcare. I never used it because I don't trust the healthcare system, to be pretty frank with you. Every time I've had a situation where I maybe need to go to the doctor, it's always a hard-ass time about shit. You got to do this. Oh, you got to go to this place, pay another. Oh, you got to do this. Like, this whole, like, just have insurance and go, like, abuse the healthcare system. It's like, you know what? I'll take my lump on my balls by myself, and it just becomes a tedious system, and a lot of people relate to it. And unfortunately, even with insurance, people are paying crazy out of pocket shit. It's out of pocket. And when we romanticize the Ted Bundys, we have these documentaries the past couple of years, we have these obsession with these crimes, people committing horrid acts, but there's qualities that make it attractive. See, it was harmless when it was just in TV and movies, and it's just harmless when it's from afar. You got people that don't know better. They're just oogling and ogling over, people that do heinous stuff. And then when it happens in real time, you can see how people can rationalize really terrible behavior. All because of the beauty and obsession, the romanticization that comes with that. So, but kind of going back to the bigger, the main story is this Wisconsin school shooting. Not to make this a too serious pop, I do think it matters. When you have a school shooting, I can't remember if it's elementary, middle, high school, whatever, but, you get these where it creates this domino effect of the attention we give these stories. We need to give it attention, but we also need to be careful about making these people superstars. We make murderers superstars, so people that are on edge in society, they're upset with things, but like, so I know how I can be heard. Let me do some crazy bad shit. And some people are willing to go to extreme forms of attention and not care about what they have to do to get it. Because maybe the only way I can actually make a difference is sacrificing my life by going to jail for the rest of my life, or making a huge statement, and I'm going to have the backing of public for once. Because no one has heard me, no one has cared about what I had to say, cared about any movement I've had to make or whatever. But I know exactly how I could grab, do something that people can categorize as doing an act that is sending a message. And I'm going to go down as, like, at least over the next decade, I'm going to be known as the person who murdered the CEO of healthcare. And maybe I made a difference. Maybe I made people scared to bring awareness. And then now, you're going to have people that have contradicting beliefs. I don't know why this person shot. They don't know the motive yet as I'm recording this. But anytime you're shooting kids, I don't really know what your purpose is. That goes beyond anything. But with it being a Christian school in today's society, I don't know. There could be some. It could be coincidence. But whatever. But anytime the target is a target that has a lot of backlash against it, that will get support. Not that people will ever support school shootings, but you get the point where it's like someone's trying to make a point of something that they feel is harmful to society. And I think it kind of brings, typically when stuff like this happens, there's like a slew. It's a slow process of like over the next weeks and month, every other week, there's going to be some mass incident of someone in public, there's going to be a bombing. Somewhere there, it's going to be a shooting. Somewhere here, it's going to be an attack on an important figure or a figure. I mean, we got Jamie Foxx, who literally just did a special talking about how he may or may not have been poisoned by Diddy, or at least someone in proximity. He survived, had a stroke. Well, he never said it was because of X, Y, and Z, but a lot of people are speculating some that he got attached with poisoned him and he had a stroke. Then literally, this man is like freeing out here. Next thing you know, he's getting to an incident at a restaurant in Beverly Hills where apparently I guess he was stabbed of some sort. It's like, bro, just imagine surviving a stroke and you go somewhere out to eat, you get in an altercation, and you get stabbed too. This man is just like, bro, like, he probably just doesn't feel safe anywhere. He probably wish he was like Ray Charles, couldn't see or hear shit, But that's how it's like when you speak out against something, you are really like putting yourself in real danger. And I think what this is starting to show is we are starting to get to a point where we are just even speaking about certain things. It could be dangerous. Like if you're a public enough figure, people will listen to what you have to say. You capture the right crowd or the wrong crowd. You get enough of a following or enough of a backlash, bro. Like your life could be in danger. That's real stuff. And I know that's a bit of a extreme comparison, but I don't think it's nothing. Because it's these same networks. They're going to be covering this shit for the next week, two. Like, they're still covering this Luigi guy. Like, he's in jail. He's going to go to prison. Like, I don't know why we have to have a 4 hours a day dedicated to this guy. Like, we get it. It was weeks ago. He did what he did. He's been captured. And they romanticize the chase so much that it's going to create toxic behaviors within men. This is how, like, maybe it's a passive way of teaching when you tell men to be, cordial, well put together, don't be a loose cannon. But what gets rewarded out here? Loose cannons. Guys on the run. Guys that, not just guys, but people that are doing things, escaping the world, running from law enforcement, doing this. We reward that. We may not say we do, but we do. It may be a temporary reward of fame, but he's going to be able, here's the crazy part, right? From prison, if he would ever get parole or anything like that, this man could literally make a living selling books, talking about, why he did what he did. He could literally live the rest of his life making a living talking about why he murdered the CEO of United Healthcare. There are literally people making livings. Like, imagine who owns the domain to these famous serial killers, the Ted Bundys, the Charles Mansons, the Ted Kaczynski. I don't know. They're all the fucking same at a certain point. We got all these famous serial killers. And we literally allow people to be rich off shitty things they did, But you want to tell everyone to do the right thing, have a job, do X, Y, and Z, make sure you are a good, upstanding person in society, do your part, contribute to society. And then you see young men, you see young women, you see what's actually being rewarded on TV. We don't get like, hey, this person, saved this community in, some small town in Texas by creating some, irrigation flood, device. Or we don't see the leaders actually making differences in states or cities or counties. We hear about, hey, this girl can suck some wiener, That's what gets rewarded. Because you know what? That's what we're into. We're not into what's the right thing. We're into what's the wrong thing. Because most people are afraid to act on doing the wrong thing. And then their wife cheats on them with the guys that do the wrong thing. Or he cheats on a woman because she will never do the wrong thing to him, I know that's pretty fucked up. But you can find truth in anything. The point I'm trying to make is, to kind of summarize all this is we really do just kind of rationalize anything for interest. We are so thirsty to be interesting or to feel like we are heard or famous or seen by others that sometimes there's nothing that would stop the typical person from doing it. I think that's a real uncomfortable truth. But yeah, I also got to say, kind of moving on to weird ass people doing extreme things that are kind of murderers and psychopaths. The Joker too. I don't know which psychopath rewatched the movie after it was made and like, yeah, let's put this out. I legitimately, I tried to watch like the first 28 minutes of it and I just couldn't do it anymore. I really couldn't. And it's not that there was anything wrong. There wasn't anything like terrible. It wasn't like terrible acting or terrible plot. I was just watching and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? I didn't feel like it was leading to any action. I didn't feel like it was leading to anything interesting. I was legitimately just kind of bored. And I was trying to be interested. I was open. I was like, I'm in this mode where I'm just trying to absorb as much different things. Not that the Joker's anything much different than I would typically watch or listen to, but I heard there was kind of iffy reviews. I heard that this was a terrible movie, and I'm like, whatever, you know. I've seen plenty of times people say, oh, this movie's not good, and you watch and it's like, I don't know. The movie was pretty decent. I was entertained. But I'm sitting there, they just keep sitting around talking in this psycho ward, and I'm just like, all right, we getting anywhere? You know? And maybe I'll get around back to it, but I just couldn't do it. I don't know. Like, there's sometimes you're watching something, you're listening, and you're just like, I don't know what else can be done to save me from this movie or this show or this song or this album. But you gotta say, I know I'm a little late to the party. I'm starting to become like a Morgan Wallen stan. Not like, you know, I'm out here like, oh, don't say anything bad about him. But goddamn, his music is addicting. I cannot lie to you. And like, I will say though, listening to his recent stuff, like, it's obviously a lot of songs that are enjoyable. He definitely knows how to keep your interest listening to an album, because it's not all the same. It's definitely different versions of more sped up tempo type of hip hop beats, along with some real down to earth, like soulful lyrics with country sound, with sometimes alternative rock, and then sometimes like very, you know, it's a lot of different type of versions. And when you do these big ass albums with a shitload of songs, you know, people used to shit on like back in the day, it used to be like, even the mid 2000s, it was normal to have like 18, 20 song albums. So when people were critiquing him for having these 30, 35, 40 song albums, it's like, I mean, if you got enough music that's interesting. I mean, Drake used to put, I mean, he still does. And people say like, well, it's a little dragged out. Yeah, like some of the music now, it's a lot of forgettable music. But I think that's just a sign of the times. It's a lot of, I got to make music that appeases to be an easy listen, or something that could be Instagram or TikTok reeled. And then I got to have a few tracks that are just pure bars, and a few like R&B, like, you know, type of music. And there definitely comes like, it's a fine line. I think too much of it over time, people get a little tired. But I think when you're in like your optimal prime, like when Drake was at that point in time, he was like the guy, like he was in that mode where like he couldn't do anything wrong. Like, it just felt like he was creatively locked in, where it's just like, you just feel like every day, like he's just at home he's just working on the next thing. Where now it's like he's probably taking months off. He's enjoying life. Like, I'll go home. I'll start working on a few. Like, it doesn't feel like it's a primary effective emotion or result for him. Where I felt like now Morgan Wallen's probably still in that mode where it's like, yeah, this shit, like, this dude just like, he's just in tune with everything. He just creatively, he can just tap in like that. And yeah, I gotta say, like, I've been just like, I literally, this is not an exaggeration. You ever have those songs where you accidentally come across it, and something about it just kind of, it's like, I like the way this goes. I'm not necessarily understanding every lyrics, but I'm listening and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go downtown. And I literally, for like an hour and a half straight, I think it was probably like last weekend, through a whole gym session, I literally just played one song on repeat. And there was a comfort where it's like, I know what's coming, so it's kind of in tune with what I'm doing. It's not too much change. It's at the right tempo. Like, there's just somewhere it's like, I just listened to this song. I just created this man's stream. I just made this dude like probably $1, you know, by streaming this song for an hour and a half. You know, was it like 0.3 cents a stream or whatever the fuck it is? But yeah, I just made you $1, you know. So yeah, it's just Yeah. Whew. I gotta say though, I've been coming across like I've never really wanted to live or study abroad, and I've been wondering about this. I've been on this kind of corny ass, spiritual journey, more open to certain things than I typically would. I'm trying to be more receptive to type of doing different things. It's still taking me a little bit to really tap into that. But I felt like your algorithm, your phone, your YouTube algorithm, your news algorithm, like it just kind of like it knows exactly what you are mentally thinking, even if you haven't searched stuff. It has been having things come across. It's a lot of living in Vietnam for $1,000 a month type of videos, and it's these American foreigners that like, I'm going to go live in Vietnam for a year, and you could literally live off like paying $300 to $500 a rent for like a fucking beautiful beach house, with stairs and shit. They literally eat out every day, like literally a meal of like some type of meat, a shitload of like a pork chop, eggs, like all these like nice sides and all this shit. It's like $1, $2 for a whole meal. You basically eat out. There's a farmer's market where you could get like 3 pounds of vegetables for like the equivalent of $4 to $5. Like, and I really thought about like, if I just saved up money for like a whole year, right? And just moved to like Vietnam with like 20,000 in the bank account. How great life would be. The only thing would be simply like the language, but like having to learn a language because you don't want to be asshole living somewhere. And being that dude with Google fucking Translate, unreliable, it's kind of disrespectful, If you're gonna be the rich guy on the block, you move there on your own merit, and you just like, nah, you guys are gonna learn my language, But I gotta say, man, like I don't even know if it'd be Vietnam specifically. I don't know if that would be my style, but like seeing like the cost of all, I don't know. The only thing is I don't know how your money converts, right? Because I think the currency exchange is not direct. It's not like if you bring $20,000 to a currency exchange to exchange to yen or wherever you move into. It's not like you're going to exactly get exactly $20,000. There's probably like fees. There's probably like, we can't really do all of it. Or, it doesn't like, you're probably going to get fleeced, But also, by the way, airline pilots, holy fuck. Look, I figure they got paid. It seems like a pretty good job. Like, yeah, you're on call. Sometimes you're working like pretty high. Like it's very like you could work for like 4 days straight and not work for like 3 weeks. And you randomly get a call like 12 hours before you got a flight to be on the night. Like, so you got to be able to adjust. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know if that would be good because it would definitely create a lack of structure. But goddamn, that shit's a lot of money. And you get to travel. You get paid to sit in a plane, It's like and this is public knowledge. I was watching this video and this guy, he was breaking it down how much he gets paid. And I thought like, I'm going to be honest. I was thinking like, he probably gets paid like $50, $60 an hour. They do a 6-hour flight, 6 hours back, 4 or 5 hours back. He probably gets a nice payday and then he may do another, like, it's probably a good, steady job. And then this guy, well, he lives in New York, so maybe the inflation, this man's base pay, this man gets paid $213 a fucking hour. And I'm like, so like, literally broke it down, like he did like a 7-hour on base and off base thing. He literally got paid like $1,500 for like one trip back and forth because of how many hours there and back, base camp, whatever the tech. He's like, basically, this is my before tax, $1,500. I'm like, bro, I would be like, I don't know if you could pick up shifts as an airline pilot, bro, but I'd be going through like, for like 3 weeks straight, I'm going to pick up a shift every fucking day, bro. It's like, bro, hey, honey, you're going to miss me for the next month, but when I come back, you're going to wish I stayed out there because you're like, holy shit. Like, think about how crazy that is, bro. Now, obviously, there's a reason why you get paid. You have to know a lot of shit. It doesn't just happen. You have to go to school and you have to know what you're doing. It's probably a very competitive field. But, you know, $213 an hour, that is like some crazy work, bro. Like, think about what the average person gets paid, what you get paid, you bum. You know, think about how I get paid. That's 213 times more than what I get paid, you know, right now. I think the point I'm trying to make here is, bruh, I need to travel. Like, for real. I don't want to be one of these people that travel for the sake of traveling. Like, I feel like a lot of people, idea of traveling is just to escape. And there is this movement with, I hate the term Western men. Let's just say American men, where a lot of men hate the dating market here. They hate how the women have been conditioned and programmed to thinking in America, the entitlement, and I get it. So what they do is they go to places like Thailand. They go to places like, I don't know, Brazil. But, you know, they go to these other places where it's a whole lot different way of thinking. Like, you as a foreigner, as an American, you're almost viewed in this weird like royalty. And guys that get no poon poon here, they go to these places and all of a sudden like women are just adored by them, you know. Because, you know, we're typically taller, you know, bigger, wink, wink. Not necessarily, depending on where you go. You might be a little below par, depending on where you go. But typically, you know, you typically stand out. You typically, if you're able to move to a place, you typically have currency, and you typically have like some type of status. You're able to live a certain, like there's something about like you were treated like royalty. To a lot of women will just, I don't want to say throw themselves at you, but you know, you are the prize at these places. And a lot of guys here, you know, they're not really, there's more and more, no matter how good of a guy, no matter your status, no matter what your job is, there are these things where women will find ways to belittle you. They will find ways to minimize your accomplishments. They will find ways to minimize all the good you do, you know, all the good you potentially could do for them. And you're just put in this box, and then, you know, they get married to guys like Luigi and in prison all the time, and then, you know, they got to take care of their kids, you know. And it's this beautiful circle of, it is kind of like, you know, maybe you're just looking for a different type of woman, but I don't know, you know. I would never move to a country to seek potentially finding a partner there. I would never do that. Like, now if it happened in some way, I don't know. But like, it's one of those things where I wouldn't seek because this is how women think in this part of the world. So I'm going to boost my ego by kind of having an economic head start, because I'm coming from an outside in. It's like if you lived in this economic state your whole life, you probably wouldn't have the means you have because of the opportunities we have here compared to a lot of other places. But like, yeah, in these places, dude, like American men are like fucking royalty. And then here, there are a lot of, you know, decently well-made men, make a decent living, could provide everything a woman says they want. And they are kind of just treated like, you know, we got to work for everything for them. And that's the crazy part. You go to these other places and they don't want you doing anything. Like, they want to make an experience for you. It's almost like you're a visitor. They want to do everything for you to keep your tourist dollars coming in, you know? And a lot of these women will treat men like royalty. Now, some of them will also scam and kill your ass too. But, but ignore that part. Just go there and be treated like the king you are. Or if you can't afford it, just go to a local massage place and, fill it for about 7 or 8 minutes and call it a day. That's about as close to Oriental as you're going to get, other than your ramen noodle packet. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, more like oral dental. Huh? Oral dental. Yeah, all that sodium is going to fuck up your teeth over time. Don't worry. But yeah, I don't know. Would it be some, or which is it one of those things that you would get bored with really quick? Because I think the fascination of like living in a land or living in a place that you have no prior attachment to, it sounds fun in theory, like a vacation. But like most vacations, you go somewhere, you get excited, it's cool for like the first 2/3 of the vacation. Then last couple of days, you're just kind of like, all right, this is kind of it, but you're also trying to squeeze so much in at a time that you're not really able to enjoy the living aspects of somewhere. So it's like if you were to go to Miami, people that live there, like, yeah, we enjoy Miami, but we just enjoy the everyday life here of just walking around, going to local sub places. We like just going to the scene. We like going to concerts. Like if you lived anywhere else that had any type of scene, they're not out, at the, the main clubs every night doing coke and shit. That's not really like when you live somewhere, you kind of adapt to a lifestyle that a pace that kind of suits you. Where when you're going somewhere and you have a constrained time, it's like, bro, we gotta do blow. I gotta meet a girl, fuck her in a go-kart, It's like, oh, this is a family ride. I'd be like, well, we're creating a family right now. And you're missing every turn. This ain't bumper cars. It's like, but I'm gonna bump you. Baby bump you. But yeah. And then you accidentally bump into someone who actually is pregnant, and their partner comes out and beats the shit out of you, and you realize that's not even the dad. Damn. Anyways. But yeah, but I don't know, if I were to move somewhere, I think the important thing would be finding a place that suits your personality and being honest with yourself. Like, I like to be around things, but I don't care to really like be in it all the time. Like, just the scenery, just being in an environment is enough for me. Like, I don't need to actually live the downtown life, but it's nice to be able to like be around it, maybe dabble in it here and there. Maybe like when you want to go out and you want to meet a new social group or whatever, it's nice to do different things. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to live in it all the time. That'd just be too stressful, too anxiety, too much money. But yeah, I think that's the thing, we, the more and more you kind of see how things are kind of turning into America, you just really want to seek some type of balance. You really want to just enjoy life. And, I could see myself living here in, the USA for the rest of my life. I could also see 2 years from now being like, just for a year, I just want to live somewhere. I want to live a different life. Maybe learn a language. I don't even know. I think the insecure part is you really think like if you go somewhere, you're afraid that you won't be able to adapt, and you'll kind of just feel like an asshole. You feel uncomfortable. You'll feel anxiety. Like, my biggest fear would be, I don't know if I can learn a language. As crazy as that may sound, like, I'm very slow at learning very specific, detailed things. So learning a whole fucking language is scary as shit. Because that's literally your navigation to everyday life. That's your navigation to be able to communicate in a job. That's your navigation to be able to get around when you're unfamiliar. How are you going to ask someone, hey, where's this? If you can't even speak and you're an asshole just with your phone, speaking to the phone, like, get that fucking phone out of my face, How are you going to be able to actually articulate what you're thinking or feeling if you can't actually communicate with your peers, with your community? I think that would be a fear of mine. It's something as simple as, I don't even know if I can learn the language. Whatever the place may be. Maybe I can. Maybe if you're just around some, by default, you kind of have to be pressurized into learning for survival. Maybe my survival instinct will kick it. But yeah, I think I'm going to end it there. I think I've said my piece. But yeah, that was episode 2. Oh, no, not 2. Jesus Christ, Clay. Episode 309 of the Off-Beat Podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Most important, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to suck some titties. Yeah. Have a great day, morning, night, evening, and take this all with a grain of salt. Goddamn, I look smooth. Just like the ocean. Meep, meep. Ooh.